Namaste, beautiful yogis. This is going to be a pretty intense core and lower body power yoga class. Let's begin at the front of our mat, bringing the feet together, extending the tailbone down. Reach with your hands, palms together, all the way over your head. Drop the shoulders down, look up, lift and lengthen. Let's bring the hands over the forehead. And over the heart. Inhaling through the heart vibrantly. Exhaling through the feet, grounding. Let's take chair pose. Stick your hips all the way back. Reach with your hands all the way over your head. Pull the belly in. Lift your ribcage away from your thighs. Release your hands down, and you can clasp your hands behind you in a forward bend. Softening the hamstrings here. Softening the lower back, softening the neck, softening the face muscles. Focusing on exhalations here. Nice slow exhalations through the nose. Breathe into your shoulders. And let's bend the knees again. Chair pose. Keep your hands behind you clasped if you can, and open the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Back to center and over to the other side. Really lengthening through the crown of the head. Make sure your knees are aligned here. Hips are aligned. And let's release the hands down on the floor. Straighten one leg. Right leg is straightened. Left hand on the floor. Right arm reaches up all the way. Up, and then you can reach forward towards the front of the room. Palm of the hand down. And let's switch sides. Now we're gonna bend the right knee and bring the left arm up. Really try to lengthen both sides of your torso here. You can extend your left arm up and over your head, palm of the hand facing down. And release down. Inhale, look ahead of you and keeping your back flat. Come all the way up to standing. Hands over the third eye, hands over the heart. Big breath in. Reach with your hands over your head. Exhale, hands on the floor. And let's take big steps back all the way into plank. Shoulders down away from your ears. Extending the tailbone down. Press your heels away from you. Inner thighs are working. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Really lengthening the back of your neck here. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. And you can walk in place here or keep a steady downward facing dog. Lift your tailbone as high as you can. Shoulders away from the ears. Try not to hyperextend in the elbows. Keep your ears between your triceps. Soften your heels towards your mat. It doesn't matter if your heels are not on the mat. You really just want to feel a stretch in your hamstrings and calves. And let's take a couple or just one big step to the front of the mat, coming into forward bend. Bend the knees, chair pose. Press your hips all the way back and straighten. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, hands over the heart. Big breath in. Let's reach with the hands over the head, chair pose. Bring your hands down and behind you, clasping one more time, forward bend, clasping the hands behind your back, pressing the hands away from your back and down towards the floor or up, depending on the level of flexibility in your shoulders. And let's release the hands down on the floor, look ahead of you and step back into plank. Nice strong plank. Chaturanga. Big breath in, upward facing dog. Tuck the tailbone under here. really extending and lengthening the lower back. And back to Chaturanga. Exhale in downward facing dog. Pull your belly in and up, navel pressing towards the spine. Walking in place here or coming onto the tippy toes here and lowering the heels down. Trying to feel the lift in your tailbone and in your hips, and then releasing. Still keeping the lift in your tailbone but releasing the heels down, maintaining that length. Inhale your right leg up. Keep your hips square, and let's bring the knee towards the nose, touching your knee to your nose. Second time. Third time, really pull your belly in as you do that, drawing the navel in towards the spine. And now let's square the hips, keeping them square and level. Extend your right leg behind you, press through your heel, and open your right leg all the way to your right, projecting through your heel. And switching sides, let's lift the left leg up, knee in, inhale, lengthen, extend, exhale, knee in to the chest, last one, lengthen, and exhale, drawing the knee in. And now let's extend the left leg, bringing the foot across from the body and then all the way to the side, using your hip strength here to keep your leg lifted, and lower back down on the floor. I will go deeper into this particular pose in the next class, so don't worry if you didn't get it. And let's step the feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, chair pose, sit back. Chest open, shoulders down. Sit as far deep down as you can, and then come out of this into back extension, hands over the heart. Coming back to your breath. Big breath in. Inhale, hands over the heart. And let's come into chair pose one more time. Sticking or bringing the hips as far back as we can. Exhale your hands down on the floor, and you can bring your hands behind you, clasping the hands behind you. One more time. Breathe into the front of your shoulders. Soften rather than try to go deeper. Soften and yield into this stretch. And let's release the hands down on the floor. Step your feet all the way back into plank. Lower down Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pull the belly in and up. Spread the fingers open. Let's inhale the right leg up. Look ahead of you. Come into plank. Shoulders over your wrists. And bring your knee between your elbows and extend back. Second time, knee between the elbows. Extend. Third time. Extend. 4. Try to keep your hips level as you do this. And 5. And hold. Inhale all the way back into downward facing dog, and prepare for the left side. Left leg comes up. One-legged plank. Left knee comes into the chest between the elbows. Extend. Bring it in. Extend. Third time in. 4. 5. Hold. Look ahead of you. Squeeze your knee in and push back all the way in downward facing dog. Step your foot back down into downward facing dog. Come back to your breath. Come back to the connection with your core. And let's inhale the right leg up, coming into one-legged plank. Bring your right knee to your right elbow and extend it back. Second time. Exhale, third time. 4. Inhale back. 5. And hold. and all the way back into one-legged downward facing dog. Step your right foot back down, take your left leg up. Coming into plank, bring your left knee to your left elbow and back. Stay steady. Second time, back. Third time, back. 4. And last one, hold. Squeeze your knee in and inhale all the way back into downward facing dog. Step it back down. Inhale, right leg comes up. Coming to one-legged plank, and let's bring the knee across this time. Second time. 3. To your left elbow. Keep your hips level. 4. 5. Steady moves. And inhale all the way back into downward facing dog. Let's go over to the left side. Big breath in. Bring your left knee towards your right elbow. Inhale back. And again, one more time. Back. Third time. Back. 4. Last one. 5. Hold. And press all the way back into downward facing dog. Step it back down. Take a few nice deep inhalations, followed by complete exhalations. Enjoy breath. Gently closing the back of your throat. Keeping the fingers spread open, let's step the feet between the hands. Inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, folding over. You can grab your calves, allowing the upper body to be heavy. Shake your head and let's take chair pose. Sit back as far back as you can. Really try to press your hips back. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Back extension, hands over the heart. Big breath in, chair pose. Inner thighs squeezing towards each other. Drop the shoulders away from your ears. Bring your hands down on the floor. Knees high on your triceps. And jump back from crow into chaturanga, or just step back into plank chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga. Exhale in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Keep the hips square. Come into plank and bring the knee across into a circle and back. You're drawing a circle from across all the way to your right. Third time. 4. Draw a really big circle in front of you with your knee. 5. And press all the way back and step your right foot between your hands. Come up. Warrior 1. Hips are facing forward. Pressing the right femur back into the socket. Left hip rotating forward. Press into the outer edge of your left foot. Lift the arch of your left foot. Both arches are lifting, but pay attention to your left foot here, maintaining proper foot alignment. Try not to roll your weight on the inner side of your left foot. Try to step on your foot as if you were standing. Breathe. Maybe go a little deeper in your warrior here. Go a little deeper in the lunge. Make sure your right knee is pointing directly forward. Keep working the hips forward. And we're gonna exhale the hands down on the floor. Plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back and down. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. And let's inhale and take the left leg up. Come into plank and do rolls. You're gonna draw circles with your left knee here. Draw them back. Go all the way out, across, all the way to your left and back. 3, 4. Really draw them back. 5. And all the way back into downward facing dog. And let's step the left foot between the hands. Press into the outer edge of your right foot and come up. Warrior 1. Sink a little deeper in your warrior. Make sure your left knee is pointing directly forward. Rotating the right hip forward, your right inner thigh is rotating back. All these subtleties help you go deeper into your poses and maintain your breath. Really try to maintain soft yet deep and conscious breath. Allow your breath to guide you deeper into your poses rather than you contracting your breath and therefore stiffening your muscles and your body instead of easing into your poses, dancing through your yoga practice. Allowing there to be a sense of ease in your yoga practice. Let's exhale the hands down on the floor. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, big and vibrant breath in. Back to Chaturanga and exhale, downward facing dog. Pull your belly in and up. Spread your fingers open, relax the shoulders away from the ears, take the right leg up, and we're gonna reverse the direction of the circle. So coming into plank, bring your knee out and across from your body and all the way back. Try to maintain the steadiness of your hips. Second time, again, 1 more rotation. Third time, 4, drawing a big circle, 5. Hold and press all the way back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot between your hands and come up, warrior 1. This time we're gonna bring the hands over the third eye and open into warrior 2. Relax your shoulders, soften the fingers tips, sink a little deeper into warrior 2. Press into the outer edge of your left foot, lifting both arches of both feet. Extending the tailbone down, gazing forward softly. Maintaining an inner smile, corners of your lips are slightly smiling. It will stay with you through the day. Coming back to your breath, big, nice Ujjayi breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Externally rotating the left hip here, sinking a little deeper. And you can exhale both hands on the floor, coming out of it. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Back to Chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Take the left leg up, come into plank, and let's draw circles. Outer side and all the way across and back. 1. Second time, draw them as big as you can. 3, 4, and 5. All the way back to one-legged downward facing dog, left leg between your hands, bend your Inhale, upward facing dog. And back to chaturanga and exhale in downward facing dog. And let's do floor touches here. You're gonna bring one foot forward, touch the floor between your hands or behind your hands, and step it back. So 1, 2, alternating, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep your hips steady, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, come back into downward facing dog. One more time, plank. And we're gonna bring the right foot between the hands, come up, high lunge. Exhale the hands down on the floor, step back, plank. Take the left foot between the hands, come up, high lunge. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back, plank. Again, right foot comes in, come up, move with your breath. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back, plank. Left foot comes in, come up, high lunge. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back. Right leg comes up, forward, exhale, down. Left foot comes forward, inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Right leg comes forward, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands on the floor, stepping back, plank. Left foot in, coming up. Exhale, hands on the floor, step back. Right leg, and come up. And exhale, down. Left foot comes up. Inhale, lift, exhale, down. And plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Keeping the shoulder blades tucked into your back, rotating the triceps inward towards the ears to create space around the ears and around your neck. Lifting through the tailbone, the hips are lifted, giving you the opportunity to decompress your spine. Inhale, right leg comes up, step your right foot between your hands, come up, warrior 1, and we're gonna go into warrior 2, Viratu. From here we're gonna turn the right palm up and reverse the warrior, reaching all the way up and over your head towards the back of your room. Optional is to lift your left as well as your right hand up and reach back with both of them. Use your core to come up to standing, and we're gonna square the feet here so the toes are pointing forward, and sit back on the right side, side lunge. Come up and sit back over to the left side, side lunge. Try to really press your hips all the way back. Sit back, right side, shoulders down, and left side lunge or one leg squat. Sit back on the right again, back to center and over to the left. Come back up, right side, and left. Come up, and we're gonna turn the toes back towards the back of the room, so leading with your left foot here. Take warrior 2. Inhale and reverse the warrior. Left hand reaches up and over the head. Tuck your tailbone under and really lengthen through both sides of your torso here. Keep your left knee bent. It's optional if you want to take your right arm up too, using your core to come back up. And let's square the hips, toes pointing forward. Bring your hands on your hips. Look up, open your chest, and exhale, folding forward. Wide-legged forward bend. Allow your head to be heavy. Soften your gaze. You can lift your kneecaps here. Make sure to be lifting the arches of your feet, pressing equally in all four corners of each foot. Oftentimes, we tend in this pose to press into the outer edges of the feet only and lose the connection with the inner corners. So try to press equally. That way you're protecting your ankles. And let's bring the hands on the floor. Look ahead of you. Lower down. You can walk your hands a little further back in to get yourself a little deeper here. And let's walk the hands over to the left ankle or foot. Lower your chest over your left leg. Keeping the hips square as you do that. And slowly over to the other side. Bring your hands around your right leg and bring your chest over your right leg, keeping the hips square. Maintain your connection with your left leg here, with your left foot as you are bending over your right side. Great, and let's bring the hands to the front of the mat and step back into plank. Lower down chaturanga, upward facing dog, back to chaturanga, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Inhale, come up, warrior one. Hands over the third eye, warrior two. And let's reverse the warrior one more time. Bringing the right hand up and over the head, and again you can bring both hands, arms up, and now you can reach forward towards the front of the room, coming into side angle, lowering the right hand on the inside of your right foot, and the left arm you can either reach all the way towards the front of the room with your palm of your hand facing up, or you can reach up towards the sky. Keep opening your left hip, externally rotating your left hip, and maintain a length in your spine, the length of your spine. Great, let's bring both hands on the floor and we're gonna rotate here. Let's take the right hand up towards the ceiling, left hand lightly planted on your mat, not putting a lot of weight on your shoulder here. Try to stay light on your arm and use your legs to hold you in this pose. Exhale and soften your belly as you work with twists. Always pay attention to your exhalations. They will allow you to go much deeper. And let's bring the right hand up and over the head. And you can bring both hands up. This is optional if you feel your core can take it, and come up into a high lunge with a twist. You're twisting facing your right and back to center. Look ahead of you, hands over the heart, leaning forward, straight back, and let's deepen that twist. Bring in the left elbow on the outside of the right knee, press the back heel away from you. Again, exhale, go deeper. Peel your chest off of your thigh, drop your shoulders down, open the chest, widen the back, lengthen through the crown of your head. Either stay here or you can extend one hand on the floor, one reaches all the way up, and the next stage is a fancy arm balance. You can bring your legs off the floor, you can bring them together in side crow, and split your legs one more time, and step back into lunge, exactly where we were before the arm balance. Great. Come back into high lunge, and we're going to prepare here for knee dips. You're going to bring your left knee down towards the floor. Second time, making sure your right knee is above your ankle. Third time. 4, 5. Your legs should be burning. And let's bring the hands over the heart and come up to standing on one leg. Step it all the way back. So try to maintain your balance here. This is strictly done for balance. One more time, knee into the chest, step back in lunge. One last time, come up to standing on one leg, trying not to touch the floor, and step it back. Inhale, hands over the head. Exhale, hands on the floor on the inside of the right foot. You're gonna walk your left knee all the way back towards the back of your room, as far away from you as you can, so that you are taking really wide stand here, and tuck the tailbone under, breathe into your hip flexors. Great, step back, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, tuck your tailbone under, back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Inhale, come up, warrior 1. Opening directly into warrior 2. Sink a little deeper here. Left hand reaches up and over the head, all the way towards the back of the room. You can bring the other one up too. And now let's bring them forward. Side angle, drop your left hand on the inside of your left foot, and right hand reaches up and over the head, palm of the hand facing down. Optional here is to reach with your right arm up, creating a long line between your arms. Continue rotating the right hip externally, lengthening both sides of your torso here, and make sure your neck is aligned with your spine here. You don't want to drop your head and allow your head to be hanging here. You want to keep your neck aligned. Sink a little deeper in your side angle pose. Press into the outer edge of your right foot, activating that right leg. Great, let's bring both hands on the floor on the inside of the left foot, and going to twist here. Stay light on your right hand, keep your legs. Exhale, soften your belly. This is a great and detoxing pose. Hands are reaching away from each other, shoulders relaxing, gaze up. You can sink a little deeper here. You can check in with your hips. And let's extend both hands forward, come up, stay in your twist. High lunge, twisting here. Now we're using the rotational power of our midsection. And let's bring the hands in prayer, right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Look over your left shoulder. Exhale, soften your belly. Either stay here or you can bring one hand on the floor, one hand reaches all the way up. Great. Let's bring both hands on the floor if we're gonna continue with the arm balance. And bring your legs up. Maybe transition into crow, look up, lift your chest, split the legs one more time. and step back into lunge with twisting. Great, and we're gonna come up into high lunge. Let's prepare for knee dips here. Make sure your left knee is aligning and dip your right knee towards the floor too. Okay, 4, 5, and we're gonna go into a balancing transition. Right knee comes into the rib cage, step it back into high lunge. Again, step forward, the right knee comes into the rib cage and step all the way back, high lunge. Third time, come up, exhale, step it back. Inhale, reach with your hands over your head. Exhale, hands on the floor, bring them on the inside of your left foot and breathe into your quadriceps and hip flexors here. Don't put any weight on your back knee here. Try to stay light on that knee, and the contact with the floor should be above your kneecap. You can always use a towel or under your knee in those poses. And let's move into a vinyasa. Upward dog and all the way back into downward facing dog. Take a breath. Come back to your ujjayi. Deepening the breath and maintaining the conscious connection with your breath. Spread the fingers wide open, always aligning your hands in downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, roll the right hip on top of the left, reaching with your right knee as high up as you can, and you can step your right foot behind you, flip your hips as high as you can. Wild thing. And from here we're gonna transition into side plank, left hand on the floor. Lift your hips here. Keep a straight line, reaching with the right hand up and over the head, and prepare for pigeon. Bring your right shin bone on the floor, flexing your foot, open the chest, lift your rib cage up, and keeping your rib cage lifted and your spine elongated, hips level with the floor, lower down. If at any time during pigeon you feel that you are past beyond the place you're at, you can always lift your chest up and walk your back foot away from you so that your front heel comes away from you, comes further away from you, so you're opening the hip a little more. And the opposite is true also. If you start feeling contraction in your muscles and you're starting to resist the pose and resist the opening and the stretch, rather than trying to force your body to go deeper and to stretch, forcing a stretch, come up and walk your back foot forward. It's hard to explain, but walk your back foot forward so your right heel comes closer to your left hip. Bringing your front foot closer to you will make this pose much easier. Try not to drop one hip lower than the other if you feel that you're resisting the stretch. You're just misaligning your hips, your tailbone, your spine, and you're not necessarily stretching in the proper way. So try to keep the alignment of your hips and just adjust your right foot or the distance of your right foot to your hip. If you need to back off, back off. Listen to your body. We're here to learn to listen to our bodies. Yoga has a lot of great benefits, but one of the main benefits is conscious awareness, the ability to listen and to hear, to understand and to be aware of your body, not just of your body, of everything around you. So be aware, listen. You have the understanding of where you need to be. So always try to be conscious and kind to yourself, to listen to that understanding or voice. And let's walk the hands up towards the hips. Open the chest. Here I'm actually bringing my heel a little closer, so the hip opening is a little less intense, and you can grab your left foot and bring it in, making sure your tailbone is tucked under, so the stretch is actually going in your quadriceps, not in your knee. When you come out of this, stay off of your right leg, come into a one-legged downward facing dog, draw circles with your right knee. Reversing the direction, step your right foot back down. Let's take the left leg up. Roll the left hip on top of the right, bring your knee as high as you can, and step your left foot behind you, flip your hips high as you can, open the chest, and transition into side plank. Here the right foot is on the floor, right hand underneath the right shoulder. Make sure your right wrist is exactly underneath your right shoulder. You don't want the angle between your arm and your torso to be over 90 degrees. Great, and let's bring the left shin bone on the floor. Your hips are gonna be different. One of your hips is gonna be more open than the other. Usually for right-handed people, the right hip would be a little more tight. It's a little less open. It depends. But listen again to your body and see where you're at with the left and the right, the feminine, masculine, yin and yang sides of your body. Make sure your spine is elongated when you're in pigeon. Come back to your breath. Try not to rush with your breathing. Rather, continue slowing it down. You can always go a little deeper with your breath. You can always maintain a deeper connection with your breath. Just observe your breath here and try to guide it through your hips. If you feel stiffening or resistance in your hips, as you feel your lungs in, pause. With your eyes closed, slowly begin to exhale as if you are exhaling through your hip. And imagine that stiffness dissolving. Soften into it. Flexibility is an act of yielding and softening into it, working with your breath. You don't want to force it. If you learn to let go of the ways you're holding your body, the ways you have created armor in your body, you are learning to be flexible. And exhalation is symbolic of letting go. slowly begin to walk your hands back in towards you. Bring them in front of your shin bone or by your hips and lift open your chest. Now you can bend your right knee and grab your right ankle. Bring it in towards you, tuck the tailbone under and keep your right hip down. You don't want to open your right hip here, you want to keep it down so that you are stretching your hip flexor, your quads. Release. Hands on the floor, spread the fingers open, staying off of your leg. Go back into one-legged downward facing dog. Big wide circles, make them big. Breathe into this and step it back down. And let's take the right foot between the hands, come up, lunge, come up, straighten your legs, toes pointing forward, sit down into a plie squat, look down, make sure your knees are pointing in the direction your toes are pointed at, so don't open your toes way too wide if your knees are not going to follow. Align your joints. Sit a little deeper in your plie. Keep pressing your knees back towards the back of your room. Open your left hand out and lower your left hand on the inside of your left foot. And then switch over to the other side. Keep your plie steady. You're not moving your lower body. Come back up. Reach over to your left, lower left hand on the inside of the left foot. Next level optional is bounding the hands behind and come up and over to the other side. Make sure your plie is perfect. I'm not moving my opposite knee, I'm just moving my upper body. This is meant to be challenging, so do as much as you can. Sit a little deeper in your plie, come up. And let's bring both hands on the thighs, and you can straighten one hand and look over the opposite shoulder. Do it a couple of times. You can even hear a crack in your back. Little adjustment should feel good. And let's reach in front of us, hands on the floor. Step your feet back towards the back of the room. I'm gonna double up my mat here so that my knees have enough cushion. And lower down into frog. Flex your feet and keep a 90-degree angle between your calves and your thighs. And just relax here. Coming back to the breath, breathe. This time we're not just opening the hips, but we're working on the inner thighs. It's important to keep your feet flexed and your calves parallel to each other. Try not to bring your calves closer to each other, then you're not isolating the stretch. Continue with nice deep inhalations and complete exhalations. All the holding stretches at the end of the practice are the place to reinforce your breath rather than just sit and relax. You do want to breathe through the entire practice, but here you really want to focus your attention on your breath so your mind is not wandering. You're not thinking about the day ahead or the day you just had. You are here and you are just present in this moment. and your breath is your witness. Slowly to come up. Don't bring your knees together, just come slightly up and bring your feet together. Knees are still wide apart. And when you feel that your legs are feeling a little, or inner thighs are feeling a little better, you can bring your knees slightly in, a little closer to each other, and again lower your head down, working your way in, so your knees are gonna come in closer and closer up until you can bring them together or hip width apart. We're being gentle to our bodies, we're not shocking the muscles after a stretch. And let's face the front of the room. Sit back on your heels if you can. Here you don't have to do this pose if you have knee injuries or it's impossible for you to sit on your heels. You can just bring your legs in front of you in an easy Sukhasana pose or sit on a pillow. Great. Let's come up on the knees. Your calves should be parallel to each other. You can step on your toes or you can extend your feet. And let's bring the hands on the lower back. Work your elbows towards each other so the chest is open, shoulders down. And press your hips forward. Really press your hips forward. Lift through your heart. Camel pose. One more breath here. Slowly, one vertebra at a time, come out of this. And let's sit down on the floor. And extend your legs in front of you. Inhale your hands over the head. Exhale. Holding either your feet or your legs. Lower down, forward bend. Paschimottanasana. Inhale, lift, straighten your back. Exhale, soften back down. You can flex your quadriceps here, flex your feet. You can even grab your toes and pull them back in towards you so that you can feel the stretch all the way along the back of your legs. Inhale, lift, straight back. And let's come out of this. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing back in towards you. And the feet are hip width apart. Come into tabletop and let's lift one leg at a time up, trying to maintain the hips lifted here. Again, lift one leg and then the other leg. Keep lifting the hips. Again, lift one leg and over to the other side. And lower down. Rounding the back, slowly lower down all the way onto your back. And let's lift in both. And bring one knee into your chest and then the other. Feet together, right knee in, left knee in. Feet together, right knee in, chest open, left knee in, chest open, right knee in, you can even pulse a little, left knee in and push your chest up, right knee in, left in, lifting and keeping the chest open, really lifting, clasping the hands together. Let's bring them over to the right side. And over to the left, bending the knee, straightening the leg. Really try to squeeze your elbow in towards your knee. Back to center. And let's bring the right leg up. Touch your toes. Left leg up, touch the toes. Right leg up, touch. Left, touch. right, touch your toes, left, and really try to lift through your core, through your belly here. You're not trying to use momentum, but you're really trying to keep the chest open and lift. Switching a few more times, a few more of this. Consciously moving, and let's bring the hands forward, hands now behind the head, feet together, open the knees out, and we're going to bring the right elbow towards the right knee and left elbow towards the left knee. It's a side crunch, side movement, so you're going to stay low here, hovering over the floor. Keep the chest open and the elbows somewhat back. And release on the floor. You can grab your feet here and open the knees out in butterfly. And let's bring the feet on the floor, reclining Baddha Konasana. You can begin to soften your breath here. Still observing your breath, making it the most important thing that occupies your mind at the moment, allowing everything else to disappear and allowing yourself for once to be present. Great, let's hug the right knee in. Grab your right big toe with your left hand and look over your right hand here, keeping the right shoulder on the floor. Slowly come up. Grab your leg with both hands, and now switching hands, you're gonna bring the right hand around the right big toe and open the right leg all the way over to the right. Keep your opposite hip down on the floor. Let's bend the right knee underneath or by your rib cage, or if it touches the floor, great. If not, just press it down, as in happy baby, but half happy baby. And next stage here is to bring your right foot on the inside of your left forearm or elbow. We're continuing with the hip openers here, and now we're gonna stack and bring the left knee underneath the right knee. Grab your feet and bring them towards you, towards the hips. Breathe into your hips. This is another hip opener, really good one. Targets the hips in a different way. It just adds on to the work we did earlier. And let's switch sides, going through the same sequence. First, this time we're gonna open the left leg over to the left. Keep your right hip down. Come back up, switch hands, grab your foot and over to the other side, across from your body. Look over to your left side and keep your left shoulder down on the floor. Soften your breath, exhale, go a little deeper in this twist. Another detoxifying twist. Great for digestion, improving metabolism. Great, and let's lower that left knee by the rib cage. Keep your right hip down. This is essentially a lunge upside down, low lunge. Great, let's bring the foot in the inside of the elbow or the forearm. Lay down. You will feel this in your hips. to go as far as I'm going, you can just hold your foot with your hand here. And it won't look exactly or similar to this, but as long as you feel a stretch in the hip and no pain anywhere, you're good. And let's bring the right knee underneath the left knee here. Flex your feet and bring them in towards your hips. Breathe into your hips one more time. If you feel that this pose is really soothing and really helping you, just stay here a little longer. Stay for a minute on both sides or 30 seconds. Both sides. Otherwise, continue by bringing your knees together. Give yourself a hug and just rock side to side. Either stay here or you can go into plow pose, halasana. Walk your elbows in towards each other. You can bring your hands on your lower back, especially if your feet are not touching the floor. Keep your hands on your lower back and just shimmy your shoulders so that you are able to straighten your spine and bring your chest in towards your chin. Soften the back of your throat here. We are working on our thyroids. Fifth chakra, our voice, and the things we leave unspoken. You can begin to lift in shoulder stand. Bring your hands on your lower back. If you need extra support, looking up towards your toes. Continue softening the back of your throat. Slowly lower your legs down. And to come out of this, lower down one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Slowly lowering. Lower back comes first and tailbone last on the floor. Slowly lowering the legs. And once your legs are on the floor, open the feet out to the sides, palms of the hands facing up, chest open, drop the shoulders down. Take a big breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth with a one more time. Inhale through the nose and exhale, let it go. Last one, big breath in. Namaste.